Hello and welcome. My name's Paul and this is going to be my first video for YouTube under the Leighton House banner. I thought I'd put something together to show the last project I did, which was a 1959 manufactured Porsche 356. Lots of people said I should have done a video of it. Unfortunately I didn't, so what I've done is put together a montage of the photos of the build, and I've got some other projects I'm currently working on and have now started the process of filming them. So as time goes on, I'll have some proper videos hopefully, and once I've mastered all the technology, I'll get them uploaded. Hope you enjoy. So this is the start of the build. The base car is a 1960 356B T5. It was damaged in a fire in a storage unit and was then moved to a body shop pending a potential reincarnation. And when that stalled, I managed to buy the car with the proviso that Ty at Riviera Autobody did the paint and bodywork. And this was the start of an 18-month build. Approximately 3 months went by and we tried a couple of different laser cleaners to get the surface rust off the car. None of them worked very well, and it was then decided that we would resort to media blasting the car. That was after I took it to a friend's workshop and we scraped all the old sound deadening bitumen out of the front luggage compartment and the engine bay. This was it when it came back. Obviously now showing some rust repairs that needed doing in the engine compartment and the fuel support panel. While the car was away, my friend Trevor got to work handcrafting the new bumper trims out of some solid lengths of brass. The car was then moved back to Ty, and Nick's first job was to replace that damaged fuel tank support panel. This was a patent panel from Carbon Connection. These were some of the body mods I requested: removing the front indicators, filling both sets of grills in front of the car, just to give it a much smoother and uncluttered appearance. Both rockers were cut off the car and replaced with new, and the original plan had been to re-skim the doors, but when they came apart there was rust in the seams, and the decision was made to buy and fit a pair of Dansk's patent doors, which were actually surprisingly good and only needed minor fettling. This was a damaged section of wing that had been previously repaired, that Nick paid and fitted. Another modification was the installation of louvers into the deck lid to go along with the new sort of outlaw cowl look theme that I was aiming for with the car. Again, another Emery inspired modification. As we were getting rid of the bumper overriders where the exhaust would normally come out, we modified the reversing light hole into a new outlet for a custom exhaust tip. Nick also opened up the bonnet so we could have modified the fuel tank so we could have a centre fill external to the car and recess the Porsche badge into the bonnet, meanwhile deleting the handle and all the side trims. This was a car in epoxy, ready for the next stages of primer filler, primer and final bodyworking. We're now probably in November time. The weather was absolutely dreadful, temperature was cold. So under Ty's advisement, we painted the car in a base yellow, and the plan was to let it sit for the next 4 or 5 weeks and just see if we had any reactions to any of the multiple layers that had gone on the car. And this was the time that Nick used to sort out one of my other requests, which was to pull the bumpers in as tight to the bodywork as we could. In total, this was about a week's worth of fabrication, but the end result is absolutely amazing and got a consistent 3 to 4 mil gap. We then jumped forward to the new year, and the first job back was to re-black all the parts that weren't going to get painted, and then get the car into its new and final colour, which is the 1972 special order Mica Gold. And this was the video I received from Ty on that day. When we were discussing colours, I said to Ty gold, and he looked at me like I was mad and brought out some colour samples. I was like, no. I said, you've got to think of a James Bond villain sat on a stack of gold. It's got to be that gold that really pops, really bright and sparkly. And I think the end result speaks for itself. It's now moved back to my workshop for a brief time. The original lube had been destroyed. I'd had one sat on the shelf waiting from Auto Sparks. So I had a 2-week window to fit the loom, fit all the sound deadening, and just to make it look a bit more appealing and give me a smile, I fitted the back lights and the rear grille. These were the original headlining bows that Steve at 13 Stitches straightened out and treated, and then made and fitted an Alcantara headlining. And then he got to work on the speedster seats that were in the car during the fire, and they'd been stripped and blasted and powder coated. And this was him starting the process of shaping and padding them all before covering and fitting the heated seat elements. And these were the update photos that I was regularly getting from Steve, with a mix of the smooth and the perforated leather. This was all supplied from Boy Ribbon down the road from me in Andover. The lines in the door cards sweeping up then run horizontally through the car into the back panel, rising up to the rear window, and then in the engine bay they come back down from the rear window and then span out across the two sides. And these are the carpets that Stephen cut and edged. This was the trial fit of the strips, brass strips that have then been chromed to the bumpers, and the bumpers finally on the car. And this was June last year, and its first sort of trial runs just to a friend's house and local events. I was then having a conversation with Dan Furr from Classic Porsche and sent him a couple of pictures, and that swiftly evolved into a Brannan coming down from Classic Porsche to do a photo shoot, which was on a miserable wet day, so we took it up to Pitt Lane Classics and utilised one of their storage buildings for the shoot. It was a great day, and the photos they took were stunning, and it's always an honour to have a car featured in a magazine, but when the edition came out and the 356 was on the cover, it was, yeah, couldn't be happier. So this is the build finished. I'm now on to the next projects, which I am going to film gradually as they happen. So rather than a slideshow, there'll be some full videos and more information. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have, do the usual YouTube-y type things, subscribe, comment, like, and hopefully in a few months I'll get some more content out. Thanks for watching.